Hey everyone, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you are. These are the admins of the group, Desiree Abicassis and Gabby Forrester. And today we are here to present to you our topic of the week for Shooting the Shit Thursdays at 2 p.m. live. We're going to talk today about a very common, I would even call it an epidemic problem, which is the problem of chronic bloating. So people walking around being bloated and heavy and feeling, 5 to 9 months pregnant. I've even had someone say they felt 9 months pregnant. That's a fully pregnant belly. And just not being able to wear their clothes comfortably, feeling uncomfortable in their bodies, not feeling confident in their bodies, and often not being able to release that gas even. Sometimes it's trapped gas. It's not always that it's gas that can be released. And so there is barely any relief, and that's very uncomfortable. And then sometimes what sets off the bloating so much is anything that you could be eating. So for everyone, those culprits are different. But there are some commonalities which we are going to be talking about. We have one person who's live. Hello. And so my name is Desiree, and I'm a naturopath who's been specialized in digestive health and wellness for over 10 years now. And I've come to specialize in IBS because I am a sufferer of IBS myself. And sometimes it rears its ugly head. For example, lately I haven't been sleeping well enough. So a lot of gas and bloating has been part of my profile. But thank goodness I have the tools to know how to manage it and make things better and nip it in the bud as soon as it happens. And we're going to give you some of those tips that we hope will help you today. And this is my beautiful Gabrielle. She's going to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabby. I'm also a naturopath. I'm UK based. Like Desiree said, actually, it's having the tools to nip it in the bud, but also having the confidence as well. When I started with IBS, I just had my second child, and my bowel just went crazy. And the strange thing is, I knew what to do to make that better. But it was having the confidence in doing that when you kind of feel on your own with it. And I think the beauty of this support group is that we're a community. And Desiree and I really want to emphasize that. This is a community of people who can have these discussions about bowel health. And each week the aim is to have these shooting the shit open discussions about different aspects of bowel health. So just some simple, easy tips today to help with bloating. I mean, when we get clients in, so I have an actual practice where people physically come in rather than an online practice. And one of the things that they're saying is, I can't close my trousers by the end of the day. I'm in agony at work. I can't sit there letting the gas out. Therefore, it's just sheer agony, and I'm dashing off to the toilet and just hoping the boss doesn't notice. I mean, this is real, and it's happening all day, every day, and so many people are suffering. But yeah, we've got some great simple tips that we can go through today. I mean, really, there's different root causes for people experiencing gas. In fact, let's go through some of those root causes, Desiree. What do you tend to notice within practice?
Sure, definitely. So I just want to say that, again, we're in a private closed group. So remember that whatever you say in here stays private. So you won't be talking about your shit and then, your cousin will be seeing your comments. So I am getting comments coming in just because I have the platform that's helping us to go live from a laptop. So that's kind of the situation with the technology. So I have the comments coming in, but no names or faces to the comments. But I still see them coming in. We have one comment that says, this is one of the few places that I feel comfortable talking about our shitty situation. And I think it's so nice that every time we say the title of our little talk show here, Shooting the Shit, we can just smile. Like, it's so funny, and I don't think it'll ever get not funny, which is nice. And we have a few people saying hi. So feel free to ask questions, actually, because I can see your comments and questions coming in. And we'll try to do our best to interact and actually answer the questions, okay? So we're going to get started. So it can be a really frustrating situation to try to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and try to sort out what's making you bloat. Is it food? Is it stress? Is it emotions? Is it the supplement you might not be taking? Is it the food that you might not be eating that could help you? Is it the food that you are eating that's causing, the problem? There are so many different facets and factors, and it's so important to even get customized support if you feel that you need it. But in the meantime, this group is amazing. There are so many solutions. But keep in mind that when you do get some advice, you get 20 different opinions of advice. So you do have to sort through and tune in with your body and get in touch with your own symptoms and see what suits your body best. Because it's not the one thing that Joe mentions that's going to help your situation necessarily, maybe or maybe not. So really, you have to tune into your own body and listen to those symptoms. Those are signals from the body, and do your best to implement what is going to help you possible. I had no idea you couldn't see who left the comments.
At this point, we should say that if your GP or your doctor has given you any advice, this series of Shooting the Shit is not intended to replace that advice. You must listen to your doctor and act upon that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So at the end, stay until the end, guys, because we're going to give you one of my beautiful bloating, gas busting recipes that actually taste delicious and is made with alternative ingredients. So if you're intolerant to dairy, for example, this is what we specialize in. We want to give you those alternatives so that you don't feel like you're missing out on eating with your friends and in social situations. In fact, I have to say, I'm not a coffee person at all. I drink smoothies and water, and I drink a lot of tea. I'm like a bit tea obsessed. I can show you my tea cupboard one day. But a couple times I felt like that hot, creamy drink, and I stopped at the Starbucks drive-thru. And guess what? Starbucks here in Canada has coconut milk.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? For sure they have almond milk, but they have coconut milk, and I got it with like a little shot of vanilla. And it is delicious and creamy, and you'll never feel like you're missing out on dairy. It's a great alternative and replacer. I have to mention that. If you feel like a creamy drink and you can't have dairy and you feel like you're missing out, just go warm up some coconut milk. It's really delicious.
I love that. We'll talk about that recipe actually, because I make my own coconut milk, so I'll describe how to do that.
Whoa. With the coconut shreds?
Yeah, I'll explain it at the end.
Okay. Got it. So we have beautiful comments coming in. I had no idea you guys couldn't see who left the comments. I know. We'll have to try to figure that out with the program, but it's okay. At least we can communicate and acknowledge your comments and speak back. And I had trapped gas for 2 days. It was in pain. It can be so uncomfortable, guys. I used to suffer from that terrible rising gas. Sometimes it feels like a damn heart attack. It can be so painful. Really, I know that feeling so well, and it can be so scary to feel like that heart attack feeling. You're like, what the hell is going on? And then after, in hindsight, you're like, oh my God, that was gas. Thank God that was just gas.
For me, it was never that it affected my heart. For me, it was always that I couldn't breathe. I'd literally feel like I was so full I couldn't get any air in. Nothing else. You can't eat. You can't breathe. It's horrible.
Let's take a deep breath. Shows we don't have gas right now. Okay, so in Seattle, you have coconut milk at the Starbucks. Awesome. Hemp milk. Wow, my local coffee shop has hemp milk. And hemp milk is another one that is simple. I mean, it takes literally a minute to make hemp milk in your blender. You just need the seeds and the water. But maybe we'll do some live demos. Would you guys like if we did live demonstrations of healthy recipes? Let us know in the comments. You guys have to give us feedback. We want to know what to specialize and focus our content on. So feedback is definitely welcome and appreciated. All right. So we're going to go through a couple ideas of why, I'm looking at my notes as well so I don't miss anything, but why does this gosh darn bloating affect our lives so much? And why do we feel it all the time? So approximately 25 to 30% of people experience bloating regularly. And this often comes out in sessions with my clients too. It's kind of almost the first thing that people talk about, how bloated they are, because bloating as a woman can make you feel fat. It can make you feel uncomfortable. It can make your belly hang out. Like as a woman, we have these thoughts, right? We have these self-conscious thoughts. And not fitting into clothes is uncomfortable, and having to wear baggy clothes is uncomfortable. And bloating can really affect a person's level of confidence. And that is huge. That really takes a toll in how you move through your day, your body language, your confidence level, all of this stuff. So
It's funny. I think
yeah.
it's funny that you should say that, because it is kind of women that experience that the most. I had I had this client this morning, and as he was sat there and we were talking, his stomach was making the alien noises. I mean, it was really gurgling. I thought he was having a conversation with me. And he wasn't coming to me necessarily about bowel issues. He was trying to sort out his blood sugars. And I say, "Oh, you're quite chatty today. Any bowel habits?" And he just went bright red. Oh. He was so embarrassed about talking about his bowel, and I realised actually, guys suffer as well. They just, they don't talk about it at all. Whereas women may well say, "Oh, I'm having a bloated day," or my time of the month, I'm a bit bloated today. But guys, I realise now they feel they can't really talk to anyone about that. So, it's great that we're having this conversation now.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, there are many males in the group as well, which is lovely.
Yeah, I think we've got 20% guys, 80% women.
Oh, wow. Amazing. And yeah, that really comes up with my clients as well, how embarrassment is a very big factor. People feel embarrassed and shy, and people feel embarrassed to have to run to the bathroom all the time, especially when they're in the middle of their workday. I worked at a workplace for a year recently where there was one guy who spent so much time in the toilet, actually. No, seriously, he would go to the toilet for long periods of time, and the boss didn't appreciate that, and none of the staff really appreciated it, because we all depended on him to get certain tasks and jobs done. And so this is a really real situation that affects people's workplace and social lives and family lives. And gas and bloating is not a joke. It's actually a very serious issue. Yeah. So we have some comments coming in. Okay, I don't see them anymore. Okay, guys, so what are the reasons why? Let's dig into the content here, the meat and potatoes, the reason why you're here. Why do people experience gas and bloating so profoundly and so much and so chronically and to such a deep level? Someone said, "I can see who leaves comments. I wonder if it's being a group admin. Maybe Gabby knows." Well, the reason that I'm not able to see comments is because of the actual program that I'm using. It's a program that allows me to go live from my laptop as opposed to having to go live from my phone. So there's more possibilities here. That's why we're using the program. So I'm going to have to sort out the technology and see if we can actually see who's leaving the comments.
It's a good point. I can probably have a look at my phone. But anyway, by the by.
Yeah, okay. And it's okay. We're just getting the information out there, which is most important for you guys. So one reason people experience excessive gas and bloating is because of food sensitivity. So imagine that you're a low level intolerant or low level sensitivity to a certain food, and then you don't really know about it, you haven't been tested for it, but yet you're chronically inundating your system with that food over and over again, knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes there is hidden dairy and hidden gluten in certain foods that we would never suspect. Okay, sometimes certain sauces. Let's say you buy a sauce to make a pad thai dish or whatever. There could be what's that ingredient? Monosodium glutamate, MSG. There could be even some flour in there to thicken it up. There could be some dairy in there, some fish sauce, whatever it is.
Citric acid, starch,
sugar.
Thickeners. Yeah, it could be anything.
Corn syrup. So imagine you don't really necessarily read labels and you're just starting out on this journey, but you're constantly inundating your body with something that it's going to react to. So that could cause gas and bloating. Processed sugars could cause gas and bloating. Not enough fiber to move through your system and sweep through that digestive tract could cause gas and bloating. So let's say you're on this ketogenic diet or a paleo diet and you're eating lots of animal protein, but you're not necessarily eating the vegetables that you need to pair along with that. So then you're not getting enough of the fiber because muscle meat doesn't have fiber in it. And so you're not getting that sweeping and cleansing action in your GI tract, which means food is sitting and stagnating and putrefying and fermenting and all that trouble.
It's interesting actually that you mentioned the food sensitivities, because I do find that once they've been identified and people remove them for a period of time,
yes,
if they inadvertently have them too soon, so you can reintroduce them, but it needs to be after a certain length of time.
yes,
that's when you really see what effect it's having on them. And I mean, I know we're talking about gas and bloating, but it can be anything. I mean, people's mood can change. They get skin rashes. They may not sleep well that day. They may get bad stomach pains. It can be so varied. And there can be something every single day that you're having, which could be really small, like it can be lettuce.
yes, yes.
Lettuce, banana, avocado all have the same kind of latex phenolic compounds in.
Huh.
It can be something really simple or innocuous that you're having every day to which you're intolerant. And so, yeah, you're going to bloat. This is the body's way, or the body's whisper of saying, this food isn't right for me at this time. I need a break. So cutting that out does make a big difference. And
yes.
when you're saying about the fibre, people just aren't eating enough what I would call sticks and stones to keep that bowel clean. You know, we need soluble and insoluble fibre. And some people's diet is just really heavy on either the meat fibres or the type of fibre that's just going to clog them right up.
Yes. And in relation to what you just said, you know, I've had many clients who even say that the morning, people can experience it differently. I have some people who wake up seriously bloated, but I have some people who feel like they've digested well overnight, and in the morning they have that flat belly. But as soon as they put a glass of water into their bodies, they start to bloat again. So even a glass of water, never mind the food, will do it. And that's because they haven't addressed the underlying cause of the bloating. They haven't started to help their body secrete the digestive juices that they need in order to stop bloating. And they haven't sort of done the work and implemented the steps and the strategy and the system in order to address that underlying cause. And so they keep bloating and they keep on having that chronic bloating. And it's very frustrating if it's coming down to a glass of water. That's very frustrating.
Well, that glass of water is a catch-22, because you need water to create digestive enzymes. Yet as soon as they're having the water, they feel terrible for it. So, my top tip there for drinking the water is to drink it, as you are just there, probably room temperature, nice and slowly, small, frequent sips throughout the day. Yes. And I don't know if you do this, Desiree, but I actually get people to add salt to the water.
Yes, for extra hydration and mineralization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. David Wolf, do you know David Avocado Wolf?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's a huge fan of adding salt, and he actually talks about adding, for sure you have to get a good quality salt here, like a Celtic sea salt, a mineral-rich salt, and he talks about adding a pinch and then continuing to increase and increase until you have like quite a bit of salt in your water. That's maybe a little bit of an advanced technique, but definitely people are demineralized, people are missing trace minerals, so it's a nice idea to add salt to your water to remineralize. And especially if you're using like a reverse osmosis system to filter your water, then you're also filtering out the minerals. So salt is a really nice way to add those minerals back into the diet. And salt is an excellent way to increase the secretion of hydrochloric acid. So that's maybe the biggest reason why.
Yeah. That's just it. Without enough of the minerals, we can't hold the water in the body, therefore we can't produce digestive enzymes.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing is, kind of common pitfalls as to why people would bloat is just eating too fast. You'll believe how many people inhale their food. They forget to actually chew.
Yes.
And if you ask them to count, they say, oh, gosh, I've probably got to about 6 to 8 chews. Like, well, it needs 30.
Yes, absolutely.
20 to 30 times of mindful chewing, mixing with the whole saliva, get the amylase flowing to start your carbohydrate digestion. Mindfulness, it's a big one, isn't it? As you were just doing the deep breathing at the start, it reminds me of what I like to do before I eat. I sit, I take some deep breaths through my nose, out through my mouth. I actually have a hand on my chest. I have one on my abdomen. and I'm breathing really slowly into the abdomen just to bring all those stress hormones down so that those stomach secretions can go up.
Amazing. What a beautiful technique. What a great technique that just helps to ground us and helps to settle us from the busyness of the day and this crazy life. And it's really about the concept of resting to digest, right?
Yes.
Amazing. And getting in touch with your body, like touching your physical body is also very important because we're very out of touch, I have to say. We're not in touch with our inner selves. So that's a beautiful technique, guys. Whoever's watching right now, adopt that technique. Every time you sit and eat, you can say a blessing over your food. You take a few minutes to do what Gabby says and put your hand on your heart and your belly and just really take a few deep breaths and also have gratitude for that food that's in front of you. Be thankful. And that's actually what I posted last night because I saw a comment that really struck a chord. Someone wrote, "I hate my digestive system." And I'm like, dude, as much as you might be suffering, and miserable, I mean, this beautiful vessel of a body that we've been given, have gratitude for this body because those gratitude thoughts are going to help to boost your health and increase your health. And there's nothing like having gratitude for your body. Like the process of digestion is such a complex, intricate process. What has to happen in there is just phenomenal. And at each, little step that has to, the food has to go through anyway, what has to happen. All the mechanical and chemical digestion aspects that have to happen. It's a complete miracle. So even if you're frustrated with your digestion, don't use the words, "I hate my digestion." That's not good. Ever.
Desiree said so.
Yes. Have gratitude for your digestion, no matter how much trouble it's been giving you. Okay. So here are the 5 effective tips to healing your bloating and getting rid of that bloating. So avoid overeating, pace yourself. A nice little technique is to put your fork down in between bites, right? Don't put the pot of food on the table. I always do this. I take the plates over. I'm looking over there because I'm actually in my kitchen. Can you tell? So we take the plates over, I spoon the food into the plates, and then we take the plates back. It's not a good idea to have the pots of food on the table because then you are more likely to overeat, because we don't only eat from a physical point of view and a physiological place, but many of us eat emotionally to fill gaps, to quench certain emotions, whether we realize it or not. There's all kinds of things going around with eating. So make sure to pace yourself, put that fork down, eat mindfully. Try to drink your water and your liquids away from meals. So have your liquids in between meals, okay? At least 30 minutes away from, let's say you're having it between breakfast and lunch, 30 minutes away from breakfast and 30 minutes away from lunch, because and especially not ice cold water, while you're eating, you want to have all that digestive fire. I like to think of it that way, it's a hot process. And you want to concentrate all that digestive energy so that it's all going towards digesting and breaking down your food instead of having it quench that fire, and then you'll have a really hard time with digestion and stagnation of food, and then you're more likely to have gas and bloating.
I remember there's my nana would never drink with her meals, ever. Even if people were enjoying a glass of wine, she'd never have wine, she wouldn't have water. And I noticed with my clients, there's a certain age group where, because I ask, what's your fluid intake like around meals? And they don't drink. So at some point, people knew this. And somewhere along the line, that information seems to have changed. And so people are drinking all the time with their meals. But, people were taught by their parents, don't drink with your meal, you drink away from it. So people would have, they'd normally have teas of that generation, but teas and water between meals, but nothing actually with the food.
Yes. I feel like in my own family, I started to introduce water at meals with my children because sometimes they would choke, and they ask for water. So I find that with children, they ask for it, but we try to be conscious of maybe having the water bottles away from the table. But if they need water, they need water. But it's a good idea to sort of implement the practice of trying to not have water. And maybe when the children are older, my children are pretty young. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So if they need water, you know, and the food's not going down, it's too thick, then obviously introduce water. But for the adults who know better, then maybe just wait a little bit. So Gabby, what's
that comes down to the chewing that you were saying?
mm-hmm,
You know,
yeah.
children's teeth aren't well, they're not like adult teeth, are they? They haven't
Right.
got the same capacity
Yes.
to chew as we have. So adults can and should be chewing mindfully so that the food is small enough so that there won't be choking. There shouldn't be dryness because you've got adequate enzymes and saliva to break that down.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So the second reason, Gabby, would you like to talk about the second reason? The second effective tip for dealing with bloating naturally?
Well, generally I would say that I see people, they come into my office and I always ask to look at people's tongues. I actually look at their eyes, their tongue, their nails. But without fail, they say, oh, have you got a tissue? I just want to take my gum out. I say, why are you chewing gum? Your stomach is waiting for that meal to arrive because you've been chewing gum all day.
Yes.
Your stomach acids are going to be so confused. So my top tip there would be take out the gum.
Yes.
Fix the gum.
Yes.
Don't chew between meals.
Yeah.
You don't need to be chewing gum. You'll be inhaling air as well. That's the other thing. Is as you're chewing or speaking around meal times, there's just loads of air going in, and your digestion is going to get confused.
Yes. And don't have an argument during a meal as well. You're going to inhale a lot of air. Yeah, chewing gum is a big one. Definitely. So what happens when you chew gum is that your body starts to secrete the enzymes and it expects a meal to come, but then a meal never comes. So you're actually tricking your body. So definitely try not to chew gum. If you're, conscious about your breath, just chew on some fennel seeds. That's going to help your gas and bloating.
They're growing at the moment. Yeah, well, they're just starting to go over here in the UK.
Ah.
So we were at the supermarket and I was killing time, and my little 6-year-old boy started looking at the plants around. And he's like, oh, what's these, Mummy? Because they've got all the little seeds. I said, oh, they're fennel seeds. Would you like to try some? So, we've been doing this all week, just popping one seed, chewing, and then spitting. I know it's not very polite, is it, to spit the seeds out? But the taste it leaves is like aniseed. So refreshing. It's so
delicious.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So at the moment I've got a pocket full of these fennel seeds, which have been fresh.
Wow.
And we're all chewing on them before school.
Amazing. And I remember we grew fennel also in our backyard. It's so amazing to actually grow your food and see the plant and know where it comes from, because I feel like we're so removed from that in our modern culture. But I was so excited about fresh fennel seeds because I was so used to buying dried fennel seeds at the spice store or at the health food store. And of course, they're beautiful also, but fresh ones are so nice. It's almost like a mini vegetable.
Yeah. I love the taste it leaves. It's great.
Yes, and also you can even satisfy sweet cravings with that. It has a nice sweet aftertaste. And you can also boil the fennel seeds too to make a tea. So we're full of tips and tricks over here. And another one is to avoid low-calorie sweeteners, okay? So anything that ends in the word OL, sorbitol, xylitol, or erythritol, anything that sounds crazy laboratory made. And this is very important to mention because many people these days, unfortunately, if you're drinking soda pop, ditch the soda pop. We'll have a talk on that, actually. We have a talk on that as well. But if you're drinking, let's say a Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or whatever the heck people drink these days, that is just loaded with artificial sweeteners. I would almost say have a regular Coke instead if you're going to drink Coke. I've never said that before to a client, but ditch the artificial sweeteners. And another place where these guys come in is many people are grabbing for low-fat foods, let's say low-fat yogurt or whatever, low-fat foods. And because they've taken out the fat, they have to give these foods some flavor because flavor comes from fat and sugar, basically, and salt. And so because they're taking out that fat, they have to compensate for that flavor. So they end up adding artificial sweeteners into that food. So you really want to avoid all these low-fat dietary chemical concoctions, because that's going to cause, it's been proven that the low calorie sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, do contribute to gas and bloating.
So yeah, it'd be the things ending in ol, malitol, etc., but also O's, glucose, sucrose, dextrose. Definitely the O's and the ols need to be avoided.
Tongue twister.
To gas.
Okay, so we talked about already avoiding chewing gum. Avoid using a straw. Also, it's sometimes tempting to use a straw, especially if you drink green smoothies like me and you don't want your teeth to turn green. But again, it's a great way to inhale too much air, and then that exacerbates the gas and bloating situation. And eat slowly, eat more mindfully in a non-stressed environment, non-stressed state. And the last one is a beautiful plant which you can actually grow in your own garden. Gabby, tell us about it.
You're talking about the peppermint.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely. Ours has just finished growing now, but peppermint is just gorgeous. I mean, generally, just on our front doorstep, we grow rosemary, peppermint, thyme, coriander, something else, can't quite remember.
Basil, maybe?
But you can yes, well done. You can actually just pick the leaves. You can just add boiling water, allow that to infuse for 15 minutes, and drink that after you've eaten.
Yes.
So peppermint leaves make a wonderful tea. And, you know, this can come in capsules as well. I know that people on the group are often talking about peppermint oil. I would say that doesn't suit everybody. See what works for you.
Yes.
But there's loads of herbs that you can actually use which have what's called a carminative action, and it means it dispels gas.
Yes.
So that's things like fennel. We just talked about the fennel seeds, chewing on those, but you can actually grind those and make a really nice infusion for a cup of tea with that. Ginger. Ginger's a great one. You generally would, boil that one up though rather than infusing it. So it means it probably does need to go into a pan and simmer that for a good 15 minutes or so to extract all those constituents that are going to help reduce the gas.
Yeah.
But you can also use fenugreek seeds, you can use caraway seeds, and these all have this action of literally dissolving gas bubbles, but also allowing the all the little, what are they called? Your valves.
Yes.
All those little valves to properly relax to aid digestion so that things move through the whole digestive tract quite smoothly.
Yes. I'm sorry, I keep looking over here. I see like flashes. So the comments, I see the old comments, but no new comments that I'm seeing. Okay. So yeah, peppermint is beautiful. And actually, in our culture, we actually drink peppermint tea every single Friday night after a large meal. My mother-in-law serves a beautiful bodum full of tea with peppermint leaves. And there are different types of peppermint too. So you can go to the local garden store and see what plants they sell. And you can experiment with the different types of peppermint leaves. You can even chew on peppermint leaves. You can make a nice drink by, if you ever drink mojitos, that's an alcoholic beverage, but that has a lot of blended peppermint leaves inside. You can do a lemonade.
You definitely can't mention that one.
No. Well, you can make your own version. That's the whole beautiful thing. You can do whatever you want in your kitchen. And so basically what I meant to say is that you can actually blend peppermint leaves into a drink, and it's very tasty. You can make your own like lemon concoction with peppermint leaves. So those are beautiful.
It's quite nice in some, if you're just infusing water and drinking that throughout the day, you can infuse some cucumber, some either fresh mint or peppermint, and literally be drinking that one throughout the day. It's really good for digestion.
Yes. And that's, that goes along with the whole concept of prevention. So you don't want to get to a state where you're in a crisis, let's say. You can always just take these things as preventative medicine and make sure that your health is in tip-top shape all the way around. And you can take like digestive herbs, and you can take herbs that help to detoxify your liver on a consistent basis, so that you're not waiting for one period of time to detox and cleanse and take care of your body, but you're always consistently taking those things as a regular part of your diet. So for example, I drink ginger tea or detox tea every single evening. I have a cup of tea, and I know that I'm ensuring healthy digestion, If I wake up with bowel trouble, I'll go straight away to my probiotics and my herbal bitters. So it's about having this pharmacy in your home so that you can always call upon these remedies when you need them best. And so basically we wanted to give you my bloat busting recipe, which is delicious. It contains, I'll post it in the comments. So if you ever feel like a nice warm drink here, we're in the fall season, winter's coming up very soon. It's going to get freezing cold outside and snowy and all that stuff. So basically if you want to snuggle up by the fireplace with a warm drink and you have gas and bloating at the same time and you don't want to, scare off your partner, you can make this beautiful drink with coconut milk, some almond milk, cacao powder, some raw cocoa powder, some peppermint extract. You can actually purchase peppermint extract. I'm not talking about the essential oil here. I'm talking about a food grade extract some people use to make cakes and whatever they're making with it. But you can use it in drinks the same way you would buy a vanilla extract or an almond extract or a lemon extract. You can buy a peppermint extract from the health food stores, and some honey or maple syrup. So you basically want to, so this is like a mint chocolate drink. You want to blend this all in your high-powered blender, and you can actually even store it for a couple days, and then you warm it up in a pot on the stove and have a beautiful bloat-busting hot drink, warm drink.
I love that. For making the coconut then,
yes.
I buy the shredded coconut or coconut flakes. I actually get the really large flakes. They're softer. And
yes, they are.
I add a cup of boiling water to 1 cup of the flakes, and I just leave that for 20 minutes. So that boiling water makes it all really, really soft.
Ooh.
And then I add another 3 cups of filtered water, and I add a touch of the Himalayan salt. That's the pink salt. Plus 2 dates, because I like it a little bit sweeter.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I just blitz the whole thing basically, and then pour it all through. I use muslin cloths. I've still got them all from when the babies were little. Those ones you put on your shoulder, so that when they spew up, it ends up on the cloth. And I just filter the whole thing through that and chill that in the fridge then.
Oh my God, you really made me hungry there, Gabby. That sounded delicious.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's wonderful. You can use it for anything then. You, obviously, I like your recipe there. But you could also use it to blend some fruit with, banana. You can make different puddings from it. Yeah, it's versatile.
Sounds delicious. And how easy is that? You just basically throw everything into a blender and like she said, blitz it for about, a couple minutes, and that's it. And you have your own homemade milks. Because a lot of these alternative milks actually in the Tetra Paks at the health food store or grocery store, a study recently came out that showed that there were very, very few almonds in almond milk. Isn't that crazy? Yes. So basically what is in there is just a bunch of fillers and carrageenan, which is also very damaging for the gut health. But, one time we can show you, if you're interested, how to make your own nut milks in a matter of minutes. And just use your kitchen as a place of empowerment and as your medicine cabinet and your go-to area where you create your own recipes and improve your health that way.
I mean, that's the aim, isn't it? We want to build this community where people are sharing recipes and talking between themselves and doing things that are promoting health. This isn't just about feeling sad and posting how bad things are for you. People are here for that reason too. That's fine. It is a support group. But ultimately, we want to get people talking about ways they can help themselves, ways they can benefit. And we want to be part of that journey with you.
Yes, it's so empowering to be able to take your health into your own hands and be savvy enough and knowledgeable enough and have that confidence that Gabby talked about to go into your kitchen and experiment and play and maybe not go off of an actual, measured recipe, but start playing with ingredients and tasting what's missing and adding a little bit more and compensating and playing with all those flavors. It's a beautiful journey, and it's very empowering to be able to have your own kitchen as your medicine cabinet. It really is a lot of fun. And
share the recipe.
Yeah, share the recipe. Guys, if you make a recipe that we suggest, share it and take pictures of it and post it in the group, because that's going to really visually inspire other people to try it as well, and maybe ask questions and share tips and maybe share different ways that they do it. that you can do it as well.
I love that. Hashtag it with your IBS solution.
Yes. Good one, because we are here to find the solution. We're not only here to talk about the problems and the downside, but we're really here to uplift and motivate and inspire and engage with each other and find the actual solutions that are going to help us out of this digestive misery.
Yeah, that's good.
Amazing.
Well, thanks, Desiree.
Thank you, Gabby. That was great. And thanks for all the watchers, the people who tuned in live, and the people who are going to be watching on the replay. We appreciate your attendance on Thursday's version of Shooting the Shit. And do you want to tell them what's coming up next week?
Yeah, so this is great actually, because next week we're talking about how long it actually takes the digestion to heal. Because we're talking about this as this huge, long journey that people are experiencing together. But actually, it doesn't need to be like that. We're going to talk about how long it can actually take to heal your digestion.
Yes.
So tune in for that one. So next Thursday, 2 p.m. EST or 7 p.m. British Summer Time.
Amazing. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Desiree.
Bye.